Once the town of New Paltz was a haven of tranquility, where the simple joys of life flourished under the gentle gaze of the setting sun. The Hudson River, our silent companion, flowed peacefully by, bearing witness to our humble existence. The quaint streets, the old bookstore, and the aroma of freshly baked bread from Mrs. Daly's bakery were all threads in the fabric of our everyday life. I, Sheriff Emma Lawson, was at the helm of maintaining this serenity. The badge I wore was not just metal, it was a promise of safety, a vow of peace to my townsfolk. But that evening, the veil of tranquility was pierced by a sinister chill that swept across the town. The day had started out ordinary. The sky was clear with a promise of a meteor shower later in the night. As the sun made its descent, the townspeople gathered in the open field near the riverbank, picnic baskets and telescopes in tow, their faces lit with the simple joy of witnessing the celestial spectacle. As night unfurled its dark wings, the first meteor graced the sky, followed by another and then another. The oohs and ahs of the crowd resonated through the calm night. However, the beauty of the night sky was soon overshadowed by a growing dread. The meteors began to fall at an alarming rate, their fiery tails painting the sky with ominous streaks of red and orange. Before we could grasp the reality of it, a meteorite fragment crashed near the riverbank with a thunderous roar. The ground trembled beneath our feet, and as I steadied myself, my eyes caught sight of something otherworldly. From the heart of the smoky crater emerged figures, shimmering with an eerie glow, their form almost liquid as they moved. Fear, raw and unyielding, gripped the townspeople as whispers of aliens fluttered through the cold night air. I hastily ushered the people to safety, my mind racing to fathom the unfathomable. My deputy, Jake, his face pale yet determined, stood by my side as we barricaded the crash site. The entities explored their surroundings, their movements sending ripples through the dark waters of the Hudson. As the night deepened, the phone at the sheriff's office rang incessantly, each call a cry for help, a plea for answers. I knew I had to act. Gathering a group of brave souls from among the townspeople, we prepared ourselves to confront the unknown. Our small brigade approached the crash site with cautious steps, the silence of the night broken only by the occasional ripple in the water. The shimmering figures seemed to communicate in a silent language, their forms morphing with each gesture. The first contact was anything but peaceful. A sudden movement from one of the brave volunteers sent the entities into a frenzy. A blinding light enveloped us, and the next thing I knew, we were thrown back by an unseen force. As I picked myself up, the grim reality hit me. This was not just a fight for our town. It was a struggle against the unknown realms of the cosmos that had descended upon us. The night had just begun, and the echoes of fear resonated through the once peaceful streets of New Paltz. The unknown menace had marked its arrival, and as the dawn awaited on the horizon, I knew we were stepping into a reality we were not prepared for. The battle for New Paltz had begun, a battle that defied the natural order of our existence. The unknown had introduced itself with a roar, and we were left to face the menacing silence that followed, the silence that was a grim reminder of the night that turned our lives upside down. The days following the arrival of the shimmering entities were veiled in a growing dread that gripped New Paltz. The once bustling streets were now eerily silent, the calm disrupted only by the occasional military vehicle rolling through. The government had sent in a team to investigate, but their presence only seemed to agitate the entities further. Every night, the town echoed with strange harmonic hums emanating from the riverbank, as if the aliens were calling out to the unknown. The fear among the townspeople morphed into a palpable paranoia as reports of bizarre occurrences began to unfold. Mrs. Dalton swore she saw her late husband wandering by the river, his figure shimmering under the pale moonlight before dissolving into thin air. The Hendersons' dog went missing, only to be found staring blankly into the river, its fur coated in a strange silvery substance. As the sheriff, I felt the weight of the town's fear bearing down on me. My nights were consumed by endless patrols, my eyes scanning the darkness for any abnormal movement. And then, the unimaginable happened. One night, while patrolling near the old Thompson barn, I saw Jake, my deputy, conversing with a shimmering figure. Before I could approach them, the figure morphed into Jake, mirroring his every move. The real Jake, panic-stricken, shot at the figure, but the bullets simply passed through, hitting the barn. The figure let out an eerie hum and vanished into the night. The incident sent shockwaves through the community. The fear of the unknown now mingled with the fear of the known. Anyone could be a shimmering entity, mimicking our form, our actions. The once familiar faces of neighbors were now shrouded in suspicion. The fabric of trust that held the community together was fraying at the edges. Determined to restore some semblance of order, I, along with a few brave souls, devised a plan to communicate with the entities. With the help of the military, we set up a communication post near the riverbank. The night was tense as we broadcasted a message of peace, our intentions to understand and coexist. Hours rolled by with no response, the silence mocking our desperate attempts. And then, as the first rays of dawn broke, a response echoed through the speakers. It was a harmonic hum, resonating with the frequency of our message, followed by a visual on the screen. It was a map of a galaxy far beyond our understanding, with coordinates marked. They were refugees, fleeing from a cataclysmic event in their home galaxy, seeking asylum on Earth. The revelation was bittersweet. There was a sense of relief among the townspeople, knowing the entities meant no harm. But fear still loomed as the military decided to move the entities to a secure location far from New Paltz. The process was to be carried out under the veil of night to avoid any panic. The night arrived, moon casting a silvery glow on the river as the military vehicles lined up near the bank. The townspeople watched from their windows as we approached the entities with caution. The tranquil night was soon shattered by a sudden shriek as one of the entities touched a soldier, sending a shockwave that knocked us off our feet. The entities began morphing into grotesque figures, fear and frustration radiating from them. The situation escalated into chaos, the town echoing with cries of despair. Amidst the chaos, an idea sparked. The river. It was their point of arrival, and it could be their point of exit. With a newfound resolve, I began devising a plan. A plan to lead the entities to a secluded part of the Hudson, trap them, and find a way to send them back to where they came from. The hope was slim, but it was all we had. As the night descended into an eerie silence, the shimmering menace still lurking in the shadows, we began preparing for what awaited. The town of New Paltz, once a symbol of tranquility, was now a ground zero of a cosmic confrontation. The fight for our home had united us, but the battle against the unknown was far from over. Each ticking second was a step towards the abyss as the dawn of uncertainty awaited us. The days crawled by as we meticulously prepared for the looming confrontation. The town was a buzz of whispered plans and solemn faces, a mixture of hope and dread in the eyes of the townspeople. The military had established a temporary base, their presence a constant reminder of the surreal reality we found ourselves in. As the day of the operation approached, a storm brewed in the skies above New Paltz. The ominous clouds reflected the tension that hung in the air. Our plan was simple, but fraught with danger. We had managed to construct a containment area in a secluded part of the Hudson River, reinforced with every available technology to restrain the entities until a permanent solution could be found. The night arrived with a sky crackling with lightning, the storm an echo of the turmoil that brewed below. The town lay in eerie silence as the military convoy rolled through the deserted streets towards the riverbank. I led the way, the badge on my chest heavier than ever. The shimmering entities had been drawn towards the containment area, through a frequency we had managed to decipher from our communication with them. As they approached the trap, their shimmering forms casting long, haunting shadows on the water, I could feel the collective breath of the town held in suspense. As we neared the containment area, a sudden realization chilled my blood. The entities halted, their forms vibrating with an energy that sent a shiver down the spine of every soldier present. Before we could react, the entities morphed into grotesque figures, their eerie hums resonating through the stormy night. The trap had been anticipated, and we were the ones caught off guard. The ambush was swift and relentless. The soldiers fought valiantly, but every bullet, every missile seemed to pass through the entities as if they were mere illusions. The entities retaliated with energy beams that sent men and machines flying through the air. The night sky was alight with the fire of the battle, the storm above raging in fury. Amidst the chaos, a sudden, blinding light pierced through the darkness. A gigantic alien ship descended from the skies, its form unlike anything ever seen on Earth. The shimmering entities began merging into the ship, their forms dissolving into the colossal structure that now hovered above the Hudson. The eerie hums that had haunted us for weeks now resonated from the ship, shaking the very core of New Paltz. The truth hit us like a punch to the gut. The entities were merely a distraction, a complex ruse to keep us occupied while their comrades arrived. The alien ship began emitting a frequency that sent waves of excruciating pain through every human within range. I clutched my head in agony as I saw the soldiers around me fall to their knees, their screams piercing through the storm. As quickly as it arrived, the alien ship vanished into the night sky with a deafening roar, leaving behind a town in ruins, its people broken and defeated. The once serene Hudson now bore the scars of a confrontation that had shattered the illusion of safety we had so dearly held. The sun rose the next morning, its rays casting a warm glow over the devastation. The townspeople emerged from their hiding, their faces pale, their eyes hollow. The military began their retreat, their heads hung in silence as the vehicles rolled out of New Paltz. As I stood by the river, the calm waters seemed to mock the chaos of the night before. The badge on my chest felt meaningless, the promise of safety it held now a distant dream. The universe had revealed a sliver of its unfathomable mysteries, and we were left to grapple with the reality of our insignificant existence. The haunting hums of the shimmering menace had dissolved into the eerie silence of the morning, but the echoes resonated through the heart of New Paltz, a grim reminder of the night when the skies turned against us. The world had watched in horror, and as the tales of the shimmering menace spread far and wide, New Paltz became a symbol of the unknown terrors that lurked in the cosmos, waiting for the veil of ignorance to be shattered once again.